everyone.
Hey everyone, it's so good to be back at RTI where I spent 10 wonderful years with Wendy and the crew, and it's just wonderful that we're able to have this conference even though, COVID has messed up so many of our plans. So thank you for hosting this. My name is Ashley Simons-Rudolph. I am also with the Pacific Institute for Research and Evaluation. Today, I'm going to be talking more about some practical things as opposed to presenting data. So I want to talk with you today about collaboration action plans for coordinated service provision for IPV, HIV, and opioid misuse. We at PIRE collaborated with the Center for Women and Families, which is an IPV advocacy organization, and the Volunteers of America Mid-States, which is an HIV and substance abuse advocacy and services organization. And I'm here today because there's evidence of substantial barriers for service provision in serving women with intersecting IPV, HIV risk, and substance use disorder. And these barriers include different service and treatment philosophies, a need for high quality training on the intersection of substance use, IPV, and related risks, and a limited time and monetary resources for collaborations. So these barriers hinder the provision of coordinated care services needed by women in crisis. Next slide, please. So I want to start with a story, and I would like for you to keep these women who their stories are real, but their names and pictures are not. So thinking about Sonia, I wanted us to keep in mind what this intersection really looks like and think about ways in which a collaboration action plan can actually help real people. So Sonia is a 44-year-old woman presenting at an American hospital after a sexual assault, and you respond for advocacy services. Sonia accepts the information you have for her, but she doesn't want to talk. When you step out of the room, the police officer tells you that Sonia was trading sex for drugs. The nurse walks by and says that Sonia is a, quote, frequent flyer in the emergency department. So I want you to think about all the different and start to unpack all the different things that are going on in this interaction. And then at the conclusion of the presentation, we're going to talk about Jessie. Next slide, please. So what is a collaboration action plan and how might it help folks like Sonia and Jessie? A collaboration action plan is a strategic plan. It's a cousin of the strategic plan. So many organizations have a strategic plan in place to guide future activities. A collaboration action plan is a little bit different. It can help determine the actors or players in your strategic plan and how they actually work together. For example, like family justice centers in my hometown of Raleigh, North Carolina, they are co-located with advocacy and legal services. And that is awesome, but not everyone can co-locate. The defining feature of the collaboration action plan, and this is the one thing that I would love for you to remember from this presentation, is a collaboration action plan is created by and for the people actually doing the work. Far too often, these plans, strategic plans, are created by leadership or administrators. A collaboration action plan specifies the goals and also the processes and expected contributions of each partner, but it's created by and for the people actually doing that work. It's a way to formalize the relationship and overcome red tape, but it's not legally binding, it's not contractual, and it can be revisited at any time. So the intent is for it to be very flexible. And to set up goals for the relationship, it's different than formal MOUs and other kinds of agreements. And it can be empowering for frontline staff because they're the ones driving how the collaboration will look on the ground. So I want to talk to you a little bit about our collaboration action plan and how it can help people just like Sonia and Jessie. So our action plan is a living document or a roadmap for building collaborative partnerships to implement promising practices for addressing intersections between IPV, HIV, and substance use among vulnerable women. Next slide, please. So many words, but here's what you really need to know about this. Generalities for creating your own plan. You want to start with a mission statement. And this is different than each organization that has a mission statement. This is a mission statement for the actual collaboration that you plan to work through. So address these barriers faced by service providers who serve women with co-occurring IPV, HIV, and substance use disorder Our collaborative partnership will adapt evidence-based interventions to the needs of women and to positively impact our community and address the goals. So we want to start broad, creating that mission statement on how to address the issue, and then get into some specifics like dates, location, et cetera, and to detail how that work's going to be done. So we want to keep this really about the collaboration, not any one of the organizations. We want to keep it short and concise, summing up the mission in just 1 to 3 sentences, thinking about the long term, and really engaging with staff, the frontline staff. If there's a large number of frontline staff, we want to engage at some point with all of the frontline staff to make sure, just to get everyone's input and everyone's good thoughts about that mission statement for the collaboration. We don't want to make it too limiting, and we don't want to make it something that we don't want to change. So you're not looking for perfection here. You're really looking for what is it that we want to do to collaborate together to actually make that change? So here you can see our mission statement and our goals. Here, I won't go through these, but just so with the goals, you can get more specific, and it's good to make these SMART goals, with specific dates and times. And then underneath these goals, you can create objectives. For example, one of our objectives for goal 1 is adapting VOA HIV testing and referral protocols, including referral for PrEP and antiretroviral treatment for women who experience IPV. And then we have several, items underneath that. So it's just a way to kind of map out ways in which your organizations can work together. Next slide, please. So I want to go back to Jessie. So Jessie's a 65-year-old woman who has stayed at the local domestic violence shelter 6 times in the last 18 months. She has a bag full of prescription bottles, and you know that Jessie has some health problems. Another client tells you that Jessie has been selling pills to other clients. Jessie tells you that the client stole her pills and that the other client is the one selling the pills. So here you've got a disagreement with potentially very serious consequences. And so what I'd like to do to close out this presentation is to ask you a series of questions, and I'm going to pause for a few seconds after so you can really think about how a collaboration action plan might impact and might help service provision for someone like Jessie. All right, so the first question is, with whom is a partnership important for Jessie and clients like her? Who benefits? All right, and what might that collaboration action plan look like? How would intersectionality work? And finally, how might direct care staff cementing a partnership through a collaboration action plan provide ways forward for Jessie and other clients involved? So I hope that this presentation has whetted your appetite for learning more about collaboration action plans as a way to unite organizations with somewhat different missions to help clients with intersecting issues. We want to recognize our funder, and my contact information is at the bottom. So thanks so much to the Office on Women's Health.